So we do have eggs in this one.
We have eggs in the other one too. We were talking about eggs because the Kroštule recipe is based off of how many eggs you use.
And that one calls for butter.
And that one calls for butter. Hey everyone, welcome back to Chef Tyler's Croatian Kitchen. Still Christmas time, still cold outside, we're still eating cookies and we're still drinking drinks. And today's cookie is Kroštule. Kroštule are something that are very near and dear to my heart. Grandma makes them every year for Christmas. She will come with this huge aluminum tray just filled to the brim with these cookies. And she would only ever make them for Christmas. And now I get to help her make them, which is really big because she never let anyone help her. She was the one who did it herself, and only she knew the recipe. And now she's bestowed it onto me. And now I'm telling all of you. So maybe it's not special anymore. But I am ruining Christmas. Now you can all make Grandma's secret recipe. Kroštule are thin fried cookies generally in the shape of bows, but they can be however you like. They are not leavened. They're supposed to be nice, thin, and crispy, served with powdered sugar. Grandma gave me her recipe per egg, and so that's how I'll give it to you, and it is very easily scalable. So per egg, you will need, of course, 1 egg, a cup of flour, 1 tablespoon of rum, 1/6 a stick of butter, about a teaspoon of baking powder, 2 tablespoons of sugar, and 1 to 2 teaspoons of vanilla. If you're using vanilla sugar, use 1 packet of vanilla sugar for the entire recipe, and then just remove 1 tablespoon of sugar overall. The baking powder and vanilla do not scale with the rest of the recipe. They stay constant. And of course, a pinch of salt. With the flour, I said it's about 1 cup. You might need more, you might need less. It depends on how humid your environment is. So if you see that it's not taking up any more flour, then don't put all of it in. The dough is going to be very similar to the frittelle dough of last week. However, there is no milk, and we will not be using yeast. So we do not need to set it aside to let it rise. On the contrary, we're actually going to roll these out to be very, very thin, so that when they fry in the butter, they stay nice and crispy. So we'll go ahead and start by adding in our wet ingredients into the bowl, starting with our butter, and then followed by the eggs. For this recipe, I'm using 3 eggs. 2 teaspoons of our baking powder, 1 packet of vanilla sugar. And since we are using 3 eggs, but 1 tablespoon with the vanilla, so that's 5 tablespoons of sugar. 2, 3, 4, 5. Before I forget, a pinch of salt. And last we'll add in the rum. It's 1 tablespoon of rum per egg. So 1, 2, and 3 for good luck. So we'll just give it a little mix before adding in the flour. Now we go and add in our flour. So 1 cup per egg means 3 cups flour. Whole thing of this is 2 cups. We'll add in the 3rd cup of flour toward the end. First, we just want to mix everything together. Adding the flour in bit by bit just ensures that we're not going to be throwing flour all up into the air. When all the flour has been absorbed, add in the extra cup and continue to mix until all the flour is absorbed. Once it becomes too hard to keep mixing with the spatula, clean up the spatula and set it aside. Lightly flour our work surface. It's a lot of flour, but it's okay. And we'll just transfer everything onto the counter. Everything onto the counter. Get everything off the bottom, anything that's stuck, pour it out, and all the flour from the side as well. And we'll leave the bowl nearby because we will be returning to the bowl. And just knead everything slightly together until all the flour is worked into the dough. You don't want to over knead the dough, but you don't want it to be as sticky as the frittelle was. You see it's starting to stick to the counter. just go ahead and add a bit more flour. And once it can hold its shape nice like this and it doesn't stick to the counter anymore, then you know we are ready. So we're just going to take the dough and put it back into the bowl. And we're going to go and take maybe about a fist-sized piece at a time. And again, flour our work surface. Sure, we cover our dough in some flour. Push it out. Anything that starts to stick as you push out, of course, more flour. We're going to take our rolling pin. We're just going to roll the dough out very, very thinly. Once you get it all nice and long and thin, we'll take a pastry knife and we'll cut into strips. So it takes a little bit of guesswork as to where to cut these strips, but we can see from here to here is about one same line. So we can just cut along them and leave this to the side. And then we'll just make nice, long, and thin strips all the way across the dough. So something like this, which is way too small, you can just cut up and throw back in the dough for use for later. Now these two, how we're going to end up cutting these are too small to make into strips. So we can just take the other side, cut a little hole in the middle, and force them through as such. The bigger ones we want to do is pull a little bit, and we're going to make a bow tie. You don't want to pull it thin. Something small as such is what we're looking for. And then you can also have fun with the ways that you are making these bow ties. You can maybe do them all on one end, so it's nice long, kind of like a necktie. Or you can make the middle part a lot smaller. We cut them a little tighter as such. It's really all up to you and how you want to make them. So we're gonna put these to the side and let them sit. Make sure they're not touching each other so that they don't stick. You should have on your stove already heating up your oil, and once it comes up to temperature, go ahead and fry. You want to do this essentially as a chain, where you make the kroštule, fry them, remove, make the kroštule, fry, remove, and try to get in ahead of it. So make the kroštule first, or as many kroštule as you can as the oil heats up, and once it's up to temperature, fry the first batch, go make some more kroštule, remove, and then just keep going like that. So I'm going to continue making some kroštule as the oil heats up, and once it's ready, we'll catch you back at the stove. And once your oil is up to temp, it's time to fry the kroštule. You'll know that it's up to temp when you drop one in and it starts immediately bubbling and comes up to the top in a few seconds. So we'll just add the rest in really quickly. Be sure not to overcrowd the pot so that everything fries correctly. The color you're going for is golden brown, but not too much of a deep golden brown. The idea is that they don't want to look fried. I, for one, did not know that they were fried until I actually learned how to make them. Something like this color is what we're looking for, and we'll just push it onto a side plate lined with a paper towel to catch any extra grease. As they come up to proper color, that means a little bit more time, we'll flip them around. We'll pull them out one by one. And once you pull everything out and set it onto the side plate, we'll go ahead and add in our next batch. Keep doing this until you have fried all of your kroštule. Once your kroštule are cooked and they're all here in your bowl, take some out and put them on a plate, and we will garnish with powdered sugar. We don't want to put the powdered sugar on them while they're in the bowl, because that way it'll start to get all really soggy and just not great. The powdered sugar, we just want to like dusting, so we'll take a bit, maybe half of this spoon, and wave you down so you don't fall everywhere. And we'll sift through onto the Kroštule. With the Kroštule garnish, it is time to take our taste for Greg. Perfectly crispy and cooked all the way through. You can see here in the middle how it puffs up just a little bit, but it's still nice, thin, and flaky to give you the nice. And it's not just me that thinks they're good.
We've been doing our best not to eat them as we've been making them.
Magdalena did not do a good job of that.
I would not know. I would not know these are fried. They seem like normal baked cookies to me.
And yeah, something Magdalena mentioned too, which I guess I never really thought about, but they're not oily at all.
No.
Like you do have a hard time seeing that they're fried. And this one is a little thick. It didn't crunch, but
So
you want
them as thin as possible?
You want them as thin as possible. Definitely thinner than this. But I tried my best now. I'm sorry.
You did great.
None is the best.
Okay, guys, you're finished.
Alright, I was managed to get these back from Magdalena just to finish the video. There's clearly a lot less here because they're so good, but here we have Kroštule. Dobry dek. So once all of your fritole are fried and cooked, fried and cooked, same thing.
It's not fritole.
It is not fritole! Dang it! That's, I've been giving you shit all day for that, and